All right, y'all, we are reporting back in for week one, post week one report of my 75 friendship challenge. And I got hurt in the first week. One of my friends who I reconnected with hurt me in the first week of this friendship challenge. Um, and I wanted to talk about it because, and in addition to giving like the full like breakdown of how the challenge has been going 1 week post beginning, because I think that so often when people choose to not pursue friendships and pursue relationships, at least maybe let me speak for myself, I didn't because I was afraid of pain in a big way. I was very aware that we are all human, we all will hurt one another, and so you sign yourself up for pain in relationships. And as I watched people I care about get hurt in relationships, I was just like, fam, I have enough going on in my heart and in my life. I don't need it. Okay, I don't need it. Exit stage left, tsunami yard, stay home, no outsiding, no peopling. Thank you very much. But as I've said in past videos, that doesn't get you the community you want, Chelsea. So hence the 75 Friendship Challenge. And for those of you who don't know what this is, I'll put a video link card situation somewhere up here so you can go watch that. But it's basically 75 days of intentionally pursuing friendships and relationships with people I care about. Maybe I haven't talked to them in a while. Maybe I haven't been consistent. Your girl often ghosts people, don't answer phone call, don't text back on a like timely time span. So I wanted to change that because I say I want community. And if I say I want community, I can't be that kind of friend because that kind of friend is not the kind of friend people want to be in community with. That is the definition of a bad friend. And even though I may be a great friend in terms of when you actually get me in the room, I will listen, I will create space for you, I will support, etc., etc. Before that, it's the getting me in the room part that has a big question mark. And I wanted to change that. So over the next 75 days, this is 3 days of consistent action. Well, 4 days actually of consistent action, 2 weekly actions and one big monthly action. And as I said, I got hurt this first week. And what happened was I reconnected with a dear friend of mine and former coach, actually. And reconnected, not that like we were not talking anymore, but that we hadn't talked in a very long time on a very consistent basis. So actually like messaging one another back and forth over multiple days or weeks, like actually being consistent with that. I hadn't done that with her in a very, very, very long time, probably since the year I worked with her deliberately on her business, because I'd hired her as a coach and then she hired me to work in her business. Um, so yeah, this was the first time in, let's say, 9-10 years that we were consistently messaging in this way. And immediately she said something. Well, I shouldn't say immediately. We were talking and she called me out on something that I was doing. I was self-sabotaging. I was making things harder than they needed to be. And she was like, girl, what are you doing? What are you doing? And in kind of calling me out and calling me up, she said something that another, or like one of her coaches had said to her. And it really resonated with her at the time that she heard it. It really moved something in her and made her feel like, well, she felt called up by that statement. And so I think in wanting to call me up, she used the same statement. But it was very hurtful to me because I couldn't fathom how she could feel that way about me knowing who I am. And So it really hurts. It really hurts that that was her perception of me. And I felt not seen and not understood. And I said, well, I have to tell her. I have to be honest. Because I cannot pretend like everything is all fine when it's not. Because that's what I would have done in the past. I would have shaken it off. I would have been like, Chelsea, this is a new reconnection. You don't know what the dynamic is going to be. Let's just see. Right? Let's just watch before you, like, is this going to be a continuing thing? You don't know yet. So let's just watch and see, right? Out of an overabundance of caution, I think, and there's nothing necessarily horrible about that, but what that would mean about that in and of itself, right? Like watching a new connection to see what the vibe is, what the sense of it is. And if things that kind of look like red flags are actually red flags. Um, I don't think there's anything in and of itself wrong with that. But the fact that I would have to pretend like everything was okay while gauging the dynamic and the vibe and seeing if those things happen again, I was like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to pretend. We're not going to hide. We're not going to not say the true thing about how we feel, even if, like, y'all, I'm very well aware I can only control myself. I cannot get anybody to believe anything or do anything or think anything or act a certain way or meet my needs in a certain way. I can't do that. Okay. And so I can ask for what I need. I can communicate what I need. I can communicate when I am hurt. But what I cannot do is get people to say, I am sorry. What do you need instead? What would be supportive instead? Etc. etc. I can't do that. And so going into this conversation, I was very clear that, the reason why I'm saying this is because I need to take up space in my relationships in a way that I have not yet before, is because I need to communicate when I'm hurting. Like my friends need to know when something they said hit me in a way that they didn't intend. That matters, right? And don't get me wrong, don't get it twisted. She was right to call me up. She was actually right. And I needed to hear that. However, the thing that she said while calling me out didn't hit well. And I was very clear that I need to take up space. I need to be real. I need to be honest. And my friends need to know when something they said hurts me. And they need to understand why it hurts me, simply because there's two of us in this relationship. And I don't want to hide how I truly feel about the things that they say from them, because I would not want them to do that to me. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you in action. Right. And so and I've been doing that for years. I've been stuffing stuffing things down and just like gauging the dynamic to see if it happens again or if it's actually as serious as I think, etc. etc. I wasn't going to do that this time. I wasn't going to do that. And so we were talking the very next day, and I let me tell you, I wouldn't call it a full-scale war, but there was a tussle. There were a couple rounds of like little match, a fight where your girl was like, Chelsea, but you can just watch the dynamic. You don't have to make this a big thing. You don't have to say nothing like. And I was like, no, Chelsea, you are committed to showing up fully as yourself in these relationships. You are committed to taking up space. You are committed to being honest. You are committed to letting your friends know where you are at. That matters to you. You have not done that. You have pretended like everything was okay. And we are not going to continue that pattern. Cool. So I go in these little fights. I believe that, and then an hour later, I'm like, but there was a little tussle, y'all. There was a little thing. But I here what made me finally be like, no, Chelsea, you can't back down. You can't walk back on your word on this. Is that she messaged me. She messaged me first before I got the chance to message her and talk to her about what happened. And so in that moment, I was like, crap, I can't not answer this message And I can't pretend like everything is okay in answering this message. Like I have to find a way to tell her. And so I was like, all right, I'm not gonna answer it. I'm actually gonna call her. So I call her, or maybe I answered the message and then called her. I don't remember exactly what I did, but I think I called her. And then she called me back later in the day. And we were talking. And I don't know if I can't say I was consciously looking for a moment to say what I needed to say, because that was not my intention. I just knew at some point on this call I needed to share how I felt about what she said the day prior. And so I think I was subconsciously kind of scanning and feeling and looking for an opening to share about what she said. And actually, I think what happened was that she brought up the conversation the previous day. She brought up what she had said to me. And I was like, no, you were right. You were right. And I needed to hear it and I really appreciated it. Honestly, I didn't quite like the way you said it. And when you said this thing and I specified what she said, it actually really hurt me. But I needed to hear what you were saying. And I really appreciate that you called me up in that way. So thank you. Um, and then she was like, wait, you were hurt? I didn't mean to hurt you. And I knew, y'all. I knew that was not her intention, which is why in the moment that she had said what she said, I didn't take any kind of offense. I didn't take that as a moment to say, oh my gosh, she's unsafe for me. Let me disconnect. Let me pull away from her. I didn't even take it as like I don't think I even took it as like a be careful kind of amber warning light kind of vibe. It was literally just a no, she's seeing something. I understood because again, she's been my coach, right? So I understood that she saw something in me that I was not seeing, and she in her care and love for me was calling that out. And so I was like, all right, this is hard. This is really hard, but I can sit on this in my heart and I can talk about I can share with Jesus what's going on and we can like piece this out. Because in the moment, y'all, I shut down. As a matter of fact, I talked about this in another video. I'll put the links somewhere so y'all can see it. I shut down. As a matter of fact, I almost stopped talking on that call because I said, Chelsea, if you talk, she will hear the tears in your voice. So shh. I literally silenced myself. And this is why I think I was so adamant that I had to share how I felt in the next conversation, because I had in that moment abandoned myself. I literally silenced myself in that conversation. And this is not the first time I have done it. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't know that that would have been the best moment to bring up how I was feeling, right? And so from that respect, I can't say silencing myself was the right thing to do, because silencing yourself is never. I don't like that. I don't like the idea of shutting yourself up. Um, But maybe I don't know. I don't know. I don't love that idea, but like the Bible does talk about being slow to speak. I know too many of us run one mouth too quick. I end up in a trouble. The Bible does talk about that. A fool is not a fool until he opens his mouth. there's there's a verse in Proverbs along that line. Like you do not know until somebody actually says out of their mouth what they are thinking. And I think in a lot of cases, we're too quick to speak. Sometimes we're too quick to speak. And in our fast speaking, we don't process our emotions and therefore process our thoughts well enough to communicate in a way that will give us the best chance of being heard and seen and understood. And so yeah, I don't know. I don't love I don't like the idea of silencing myself. And I know in that moment what I did was not healthy because I shut down my emotions because I was feeling overwhelmed and I couldn't handle it. So I was like, Chelsea, shut up. That's not how I want to deal with myself. That's not what I want to do. I don't know what a healthier thing would have been to do. Somebody sound off in the comments and help your girl. Maybe a healthier thing would have been to be like, um, I hear you. Thank you for sharing that with me because I know you're sharing it out of love. Um, can we pick up this conversation tomorrow? And just cut. Um, and if she asked why, I don't know. Because like you don't necessarily want to maybe I could have just said something like, if she asked why, maybe I could have said, no, I hear you, and I feel like there's something in what you're saying, and I need to go away and like sort out how I feel about it and sort out how I think about it. Um, so yeah, I'll call you right back tomorrow to let you know where I'm at. Sound good? And then end the call there. Cause I think like cause what made me shut myself up and really shut down is because she said what she needed to say once, and then she kept finding different ways to communicate what she was saying. And then in addition to that, she jumped to talk about other things. And I don't know that she recognized the weight of her words in that moment. Um and so like she was on to a completely other thing. Meanwhile, I was droning because what she was saying was like, damn, I think I was so overwhelmed. I was like emotional overload, like a tsunami of emotions. And my eyes were welling up. I was full on about to cry. And I knew that if I stayed on that call, I could not release my emotions because I did not want to have to explain how I was feeling because I didn't know. I didn't know how I was feeling. I didn't have any words. I just had feelings and tears. And so I was like, Chelsea, suck it all up, shut it down. And I don't like that for me. So I think a better thing in that moment to have done would be to acknowledge what she's saying, acknowledge her intention because I know that she cares for me. And I knew that in that moment. Even in the tsunami of emotions, I knew that what she was saying was coming from care, and that's why I in that moment made an intentional choice not to take offense, not to pull away, not to disconnect, but to listen and to hear what she was saying because I knew she was doing it from a place of love. um so yeah, I feel like that was just not the best moment for me to respond to her and share. So I think a healthier thing would literally have been to be like, acknowledge that she was what she was saying, confirm that I hear what she's saying, and let her know that I have to go away and think about it, and I'll call her back tomorrow and talk to her about where I'm at in response. Because I don't have like what she's actually. I could have even acknowledged like that what she was saying was landing on me in a way that like I needed to process. I could have absolutely said that. Your girl didn't have any kind of emotional or mental bandwidth to process all of that. I would just say my feels. So I couldn't process my emotions in that moment. And so I stayed on the call, shut myself up. She kept talking about a bunch of other random things. I was extremely quiet. She asked me several times, Chelsea, are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? I'm like, yeah, I'm here. I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you, trying not to break down bawling. I'm listening to you. So long story short, we get into conversation. I share with her exactly where I was at and how I didn't like what she said. Um, and I honestly don't even think that I expressed myself as best as I could in that moment because I think she still misunderstood where I was coming from. Because it's not even what she said, that hurt me. Is that she would believe that about me. Um, it's not even what she said. Because if I had heard somebody else say that, moving right along, I don't care. But it's the fact that she said it about me and that her perception of me in her mind was that. Um, that was painful. That was painful for me to hear and painful because I didn't feel seen in that moment. And so I tried my best to tell her all of that. I don't think I succeeded well enough, but she did apologize and she was like, her intention was not to hurt me. And I told her, I know it wasn't. And We don't even like we don't have to make this a thing because I didn't take any offense, and I processed what I needed to process, and I heard you, and I needed to hear you. Like what you said was very important and useful and helpful for me. So thank you. It's just that little part I wanted you to know that that was not like I didn't feel good about that. That's all. And I explained to her like people pleasing and pretending like everything is okay is something that I've done a lot in my relationships, in my friendships. Um, we're not doing that anymore. We are we're shrinking, self-abandoning, like over functioning and monitoring of people's behaviors, like trying to anticipate what they're going to think about my behavior or about what I'm saying or like about what I feel. And I would try to anticipate what people would think and then anticipate what my response needed to be and have that response instead of having my truest response or reaction. I would have the reaction to the thought that I thought that they would think, which is insane because now I'm reacting to something that's not even real. Right? I've made up a whole world in my head where that idea that I have of what they may think has now become a reality. And now I am responding in the real world as if this thing I made up in my head is actually real. Bruh, your girl has some gymnastics going on in here. And I was very clear that like I am rewriting that. That's a part of 75 friendship. It's like rewriting that default, that massive, entangled, really nutty, messy default. We are rewriting it. And so I explained all of that to her. I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be honest in my friendships. I want to take up space. And I also want to, in doing all of that, move towards connection always, because that's the most important thing to me is I am not pulling away from you. And no matter you are going to hurt me, I am going to hurt you. This is what humans do to one another. But disconnection is not on the table for me, particularly when you are a friend that I have history with, I deeply love and care about. Disconnection is not on the table for me. And I said all of that to her. And I don't think, as I said, I don't think she got it because the next day, the next day she messaged me again and she was thinking about me and thinking about everything that we were talking about on that first day. And she was like, she said something and then she started hedging. She started saying things like, I don't even know, like, I hope I'm not overstepping my bounds. I hope, like, I don't know if this is my place to say. Um, and, like, anytime you hear somebody say something and it doesn't resonate for you, feel free to let it go and da 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 da. And I'm just like, wait, what is this? This is not the response I wanted. You are walking on eggshells around me, and that is not what I want. So let us be clear. So I sent her another series of voice notes just explaining, hey, I don't want you to walk on eggshells around me. Say what you have to say. Like, don't hedge. If you feel the need to say something, call me out. Your voice in my life matters, right? And I want it to matter because if you see something in me, if you see an opportunity for growth, for improvement, for more alignment with who I say I want to become, I want you to call that out in me, particularly because you are a trusted friend. You're not some like random by the way person. You are somebody who is deep in my heart. You are heart family. You are not by the wayside random acquaintance. you know? So if you see something inside of me that you think I can improve on, I can grow in, that I can find more alignment and integrity in, call me up, sis. Call me out. Do not let me sit here and self sabotage and not grow. Okay? I listen. I do not want that. Your voice in my life matters. Speak. Don't silence yourself. Don't like, no, that's not what we're doing. And so I explained all of that. Um, and I'm not sure if she got it. Actually, I'm not even sure if she listened, to be quite honest, because she had a lot going on that weekend. Um, and so it's quite possible that life is starting to life a little bit, and she hasn't gotten back to me. So I'm not even sure if she listened to the voice messages because she hasn't responded, and I haven't heard from her. So I'm like, did I unintentionally hurt you now? It's low key. It's low key what I'm wondering, because I've checked in with her a couple times and I haven't heard from her. So I'm like, did I unintentionally hurt you? Or is life, did I unintentionally hurt you? Or is life just lifing and you haven't gotten the chance to listen and respond to my messages yet? Um, or did you just need a few days to process and you didn't tell me? Like, what is it? This is what I mean, y'all. We hurt one another. So if it is that I hurt her, I will apologize. I will apologize. I will work to improve. Like, this is relationship. And thankfully it happened with her, because I feel I feel like she's somebody with whom my relationship matters, and with whom I can say what I need to say and learn and grow, in a space where I will not be judged or condemned or disconnected from. That is not, I don't, that's not ever her default response. And if it is now, I would be surprised. But also, human beings are human beings, right? So, like, also making space for whatever it is, whatever, if it's life in, if it's just like she got hurt, whatever it looks like. My role in this relationship, I have decided, is to be moving towards connection with her. That's my goal in all of my friendships. It takes two in any relationship for connection to thrive, right? But in the sort of embracing the reality that my behavior and my decisions and my actions and my thoughts and me, this is the only thing I can control. Embracing that reality, I acknowledge and understand that, like, this is my job. My What I have decided is connection is priority for me in this relationship. And so if you want to prioritize this connection, there's nothing I can do about that. And that may hurt me, sure. And I will have to go away and process and pray and cry and whatever else I need to do, right? But, like, as far as it depends on me, connection is my goal. And so I will repair. I will apologize. I will grow with you. Like, I'm in this with you because you are my friend. And this connection is not on the table for me because of who you are and who you have been to me and how much you matter to me. Um, so yeah, that was the big highlight of week 1 of 75 friendship. Other happenings throughout the week. I have not been following the calendar. Like, my whole 3 daily actions for 4 days straight, 2 weekly actions. Your girl has not been following that calendar. However, I have been doing things. And I think the intentional decision to do this challenge in the back of my mind is subconsciously setting a sort of new pattern of, like, no, Chelsea, remember, you have to message this person. You have to talk to this person. Oh, go look on their WhatsApp status. Let's see what they're talking about now. Oh, you like that? Tell them they're gorgeous. You love them in that dress. Like, that kind of script is what's playing in my head now. So, like, in the past week, I have probably responded to more WhatsApp stories than I have in the last 10 years. I kid you not. I probably responded to 7 to 10 WhatsApp stories. Chelsea doesn't normally even watch WhatsApp stories. And on Instagram, I probably responded to 5, 3, somewhere between 3, 4, or 5. It's more likely 5. Because when I think about all the people that I responded to this past week, I feel like it's 5. Like 5 different friends on Instagram, just like liking their posts, cheering them on, commenting something, asking a question in the past week. And some of those things correlate to the actions in my whole 75 friendship rule, because responding to the content that people post is one of those things. Sharing appreciation is one of those things. So anytime like I see something that I appreciate about somebody, sounding off on it. Also reaching out to one friend every day, just like checking in, saying hi, is the third thing, right? Those are my 3 daily actions. And in some way, shape, or form, I'm doing all 3 of those things, but it's not in the way that I thought I would be doing them. So, for example, like I randomly called 2 different people, actually more like 3. I had 3 friend conversations last week, which I don't normally do. I caught up with somebody I hadn't spoken to in probably a year. Like, y'all, the challenge is challenging, okay? It's giving what it's supposed to give. Even if your girl is not in the like tracker checking off every step, it's the challenge activated a script in my mind. And your girl now has a list. Like, I have somebody I need to call tomorrow. I remembered like a couple people that I needed to message today, and your girl shot off some messages to them to just check in and say hi. Like, yeah. The script is scripting. The default is being written, and I love this for me. Is it as exhausting as I thought it would be? Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that I do have to follow through, right? And until I follow through, it's an open tab in my brain, and it feels very sorry, y'all, I'm adjusting my chair. Until I follow through, it's an open tab in my brain, and that open tab in my brain leaches energy and capacity. However, it's not as exhausting as I thought it would be, because a lot of the time people don't like, especially with the social media WhatsApp stories stuff, people don't want a full-on conversation. They just say thank you and keep it pushing. And so I think I anticipated that every time I connected with someone, it meant a conversation. It meant holding space. It meant listening. It meant sharing. And that was not always an energizing prospect, particularly for an introvert who has always been the listener, the safe space, the one who holds space for other people. And so my hesitation to actually reach out to somebody is like, this is gonna be a whole thing. Y'all, 80 to 90% of the time, it's not a whole thing. It really isn't. It really, really is not. And so, at least not with my people anyway. Maybe your people be different. But with my people, they just say thank you. How are you? Keep it pushing. And it's a lovely touch base kind of moment, I feel, because what I have experienced is they're like, oh my gosh, Chelsea, hi. Like, oh my goodness, it's so good to see you pop up in my inbox. Hey, it's good to see you. That kind of vibe, particularly for the people that I haven't messaged in a while or talked to in a while. So that's a really cool feeling. That's a really encouraging and enriching feeling. Like my relationships and the fact that I'm doing this start to feel very rich. And I can see on the horizon a reality where my relationships feel like some of the richest parts of my life because of these tiny investments that I'm starting to make in this past week. Which is a really powerful thing, I think. So often in the world, we gauge wealth and richness by how much money is in our bank account or in our 401ks, or like how much dividends we're actually getting back from like investments we've made on a monthly basis. Like, those are the things assets we own. Those are the things we gauge wealth on. But this to me is wealth. This feels so rich to be following through on my intention to invest in the people who care about me and whom I care about, to show up for them, to tell them how much they mean to me, and to prioritize always be moving toward connection in these relationships. That feels so rich to me. I feel so blessed that I have people that I can like. I open WhatsApp and I have a plethora of people I can just like respond to their statuses because these are all the people in my life I care about. And not, I don't think many people in the world can say, I know so many people right now feel alone and feel lonely and feel without friends and don't feel seen or heard or even like they could find somebody to talk to. And the fact that I have this many people that I can reach out to, that I can reconnect with, that I can intentionally invest in feels like a really powerful and enriching thing. I feel rich. I feel wealthy, y'all. um, in comparison to sometimes how I feel financially. And it's side notes, it is definitely a like dissonance. Like, how can I feel so rich in this part of my life and feel so poor sometimes in this other one? But yeah, y'all. It's been a good first week, I think. All this to say, it has been a good first week. Second week is off to a solid start as well. I have checked in with a couple different people this week, and we'll see how week 2 progresses. All right, y'all, thank you for joining me for this video. If you are in a place where you want to intentionally invest in your friendships, I am curious as to what you are doing. What are you doing to intentionally invest in your friendships, to show up for your people, to let them know that you care about them? Drop some ideas in the comments below. You already heard 3 of mine, right? Like just reach out to somebody, say hi, hello, check in, respond to a status or social media or something, and like write down the things that I appreciate about them, that I notice about them, that I want to celebrate about them, and actually communicate that at some point, whether that is communicating that in the moment or at a future date. Those are 3 of the things, the 3 daily things that I am doing for 75 friendship. And I do these things 4 days a week. But like I said, I'm not exactly following the schedule. And what that means is, so far, I think I've done this nearly every day. I haven't given myself a break. So that's something I do need to do. But yeah, those are my ideas. What are some of yours? Small ways that you show up for your people and let them know that you care about them and intentionally invest in your friendships. Drop some ideas in the comments below. If you feel that fear that I felt around being hurt in relationships, I'd also love to hear your story. So feel free to drop that in the comments below too. And please feel free to subscribe because we talk about friendships in a big way around here. If you want to get in on 75 Friendship, the starter kit is in the description box below as well. So you can go ahead and grab that and see the full tracker, all of the activities that I'm planning to do, etc., etc. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I will see you in the next one. Take care.